right now, what would you say? Try not to say his name because he's not guilty yet, so we don't want to.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. It's just
and then number 5, what would you say to people that have been raped and are afraid to come forward? And then, of course, anything else that you want to say, obviously feel free to do that. I think the plan is going to be, we're going to try really hard to get as many people as we possibly can there on Monday. If they go through with this plea and he is then guilty, we then have a whole nother avenue that we can go to because he's now been
and then we'll
guilty of it. So it's easy to say, okay, now we can release his name and we can release his name.
And where?
His name on accident.
I'm gonna take it out.
You did.
Where
that's okay.
is,
and that was just one time. It wasn't.
Where are you sending this out to?
Every social media platform I have.
Okay. If you go on Sir Dix a lot Instagram. That's my Instagram. I actually have a lot.
What is it?
Okay, my significant other's name was Sir Dix a lot. Okay, so that was his name, right, for a wordplay game. Okay. So I was like, shit, that my name's Sir Dix a lot. So
Okay.
That's where that came from. Okay, and then
tag you in it.
Yeah, if you look at there's a live thing, and I didn't say.
You can find Rick's and then share it.
Yeah.
If you go look at I'm open. I actually went public on accident. Didn't even know it. And then I'm like, I had 1,000 people. I'm like, I only got like 40 followers. Where the fuck did all these people come from? So, okay, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna cry a lot. This is gonna suck. I cry a lot all the time, especially because it has to do with my kids. It affected my kids.
There you go. All right. So, did the prosecutor tell you that they were doing a plea deal? And did they ask you ahead of time?
They didn't ask, but she did inform me that his lawyer would ask for a plea deal. That's low 6 months, and it was like okay, but she said that she offered the 15 to 20, and it made me sick to my stomach because really only 15 to 20
15 to 20 months.
Yeah, 15 to 20 months. And I straight up said, I was like, do you remember? I said, no plea deal. I was like, if we're gonna go forward with this, no plea deal. This is gonna traumatize all of us, so we already agreed we're gonna fight through the whole thing. And she said, well, it's not up to us, it's up to the state. Well, you're the prosecutor, you are the state. But at the time, my 3-year-old was screaming, and it was her way of getting off the phone. And I tried to call, no one answered, and then I emailed, please, don't go any lower, please, I've lost so much by coming forward, don't go any lower, and no response. And that's what I got. That was the end of that. And then I sent 2 emails going, I understand the system. I already knew that this was going to happen. I already understand the unjust justice system. And I was like, but please don't go any lower. Clearly, if they wanted a plea deal, he knows he's guilty. And he got scared. If he's scared, don't go any lower. Because 15-20 is nothing. I didn't know it was 15 to 20 for only one count though at the time too.
So how did you feel about them consolidating the 3 rape cases into one?
Furious. Rage. Complete rage. Because there's 3 of us. I emailed going 1 count. There was 1 count rape, 1 count assault. Who's the rape? Who's the assault? And I even said 1 + 1 = 2 if my math is correct. There's 3 of us. Which one of us don't matter? It's not a real question, but that's what all 3 of us think.
Yeah. What justice would you like to see served?
Out of anything, the serve is him to, to actually be served for each rape. My rape, that's technically the first rape, technically the second rape. I know I'm not the first. I know I wasn't the second. I know I wasn't even third, but I'm gonna be last.
If you could talk to your rapist right now, what would you say to him?
You raped the wrong one. Like I said. When I said I was gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. And that's what I'm doing. That I know, when I found out that I'm not the only one, first thing I thought of was, what happened to you? I know that you don't care what you did to all of us. You enjoy that power. But you should care what you did to your mother and what you put her through. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. So I want to make sure you remember who put you in there for the rest of yours.
What would you say to people that have been raped and are afraid to come forward?
I understand 100% why. You don't want to go through the unjust justice system, traumatize yourself, having to prove that you're not lying, that you just lost something of yourself. Totally understand. But I want you guys to understand that it gives you power. It brings you back knowing that you stood up. I understand why not to. I totally understand. But the kids can't stand up for themselves. Those little boys, those little girls, they can't. So we have to, and it gives you power within. It really does. It gives you back your identity, because when something happens like that to you, you think, what's wrong with me? Why did, and don't think that way, because it wasn't your fault at all. And if you stand up for yourself, it's really hard to do. It's really, really hard. But it gives you a sense of worth knowing that you at least tried. And knowing that you tried, you most likely, no matter what, have saved at least 5 to 10 people. And that power on its own feels wonderful.
Are there any other thoughts that you want to share?
Can I say my name?
Sure.
Okay. I'm Annette Lombardo, and I've always stuck up for myself. I was very proud of who I was, and I made a monster allowed to take away my pride, and I realized, no, I'm not gonna let that happen. And my mama taught me right. I asked her if monsters were real, and my mom was honest and told me yes, they are, but they are disguised as humans, and you have to be able to see through the mask. So I say, if you see that mask, you rip off the mask and you expose them for who they are. And you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the community, for all the other ones who can't. It is extremely hard to stand up and keep standing while everyone's kicking you down. It's very hard. But to know that you are still standing after all of that makes you feel like you're on the top of the world, even though you want to crumble. I'm losing my thought process.
You're okay.
I was technically the third victim, the last one, but I was the first to reveal the monster to the family, the second to come forward. And I want to make sure I am the last. And don't wait. Don't ignore. Don't just read articles and assume what's all going on. Know that when someone becomes a victim or warrior, it depends on how you think about it, it doesn't just affect you, it affects your family. It affected my boys. I will find myself again, but I lost myself. My mindset took me down, and I have 2 little boys to take care of, and it affected them the most. And that breaks me the most. So I don't want any of you to see me as me. I want you to see me what if I was your daughter? What if I was your sister, best friend, your teacher, or your mom? My little boy should never see their mom cry. And that's why I refuse to back down. And I will never back down. I never did before in my life, and I never will in the future. For the ones who had to stay silent, the ones who couldn't handle that horrible intensity of having to come forward, the rest of us are with you, and if you do, we all have your back, and we all have that power to keep you on your throne. Does that make any sense? I want to make sure that my boys know that they are safe. I want to make sure that there's no more other victims coming from the monsters that I had. I will get myself back on my own throne because that's who I am. That's who my parents taught me to be. Don't wait until it happens to your family. Don't wait until it happens to your mom or your sister or your baby girl or your baby boy. Stand up now. Become a community like it should be. We shouldn't have us attacking each other, just judging and hating each other. We should have compassion, understanding, and backup, because that's what a real community is. Not with this bull social media crap. It's sad that in court, you're innocent until proven guilty, but a victim is lying until there's enough evidence. And it's wrong. Trauma doesn't just affect your brain. It affects your whole life. It affects everyone around you. And it affects the way you treat others. It affects your job performance. It affects your body really bad. And it affects the future generations. So we need to stand up for now. I think that might be all.
That was it. That was awesome.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, really good.
Good job. Only one cuss word.
I know.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, what? How did that happen?
Good try, man. That was fucking hard.
Yeah, that was good. Really, really good. They both did really good. I know that's